All right, just taking a quick look at this new Acura ADX. So this is the Acura version of the Honda HR-V, the smallest crossover that Honda Acura makes. And I was actually really impressed with the job they did with transforming this into an Acura because they didn't cheap out on this. They really made some significant changes here. So let's kind of go through it. We'll go through it and talk about kind of the main things that they've done. And starting out with the styling. This actually, for basically being like a rebadged vehicle, this thing looks incredible. It looks incredible. Of course, having these additional Acura paint colors. Acura has some of the best colors, don't they? So of course that helps as well. But from a design standpoint, not only did they just transform the HR-V, but this new design language where they have this, the chicane LED go all the way into the grille. That's something new. That's something we haven't seen before. And I really like that. If we can actually jump over to this picture here, yeah, I really like that it kind of ties in the grille design because you kind of have that same angle coming off the grille into the light. And if you're a fan of fog lights, there are actually little fog lights down here as well. So that's something you don't see on a lot of new vehicles. And then just to kind of jump back to this picture here, kind of the best part of this design is the way they've kind of flared out the shoulders here. This is something, this is totally different sheet metal than the HR-V. The HR-V doesn't have this. The HR-V just has like a gentle curve. So yeah, very cool. Like a blistered fender flare there. And then, below that, you're going to get gloss black here, at least on the higher trims. I think maybe the base model is going to be unpainted. But yeah, so, you'll have that. That'll differentiate it from the HR-V. And then another styling cue up front here is they got this crease on the front, actually on the front and rear bumpers. And this is actually an aerodynamic aid. It's not just some random styling element. It's similar to an air curtain. This is something that, most cars have. And in fact, this thing probably has it as well. There's probably little ducts down here or something. But it's like an additional aerodynamic aid because actually what happens is the air is kind of bumped out when it hits that crease. And it just kind of bumps it out away from the front tires a little bit more. And then on the rear, it's kind of the same story. So there's that crease again. This time, what it does is it helps keep the air that's flowing along the side of the vehicle. It helps keeping it flow past the rear end. So it doesn't, otherwise, if you had a round bumper, the air would actually get sucked in and you get basically more turbulence. You just increase the amount of wake that you have in the rear, which is bad for aerodynamics, bad for efficiency, bad for fuel economy, basically. So yeah, it's kind of a cool thing. It looks cool and it's functional. The tail lights here, it does have that chicane. It's a little bit more angled than the HR-V, but I think from the rear, this thing is going to look fairly similar to an HR-V. You are going to get dual exhaust, again, at least on the A-spec models, or the higher trim models. So that's something you can't get on the HR-V. They did, tweak the spoiler up here a little bit to give it a little bit more style. But, if you are concerned about it looking, a little too HR-V-like, they are going to have this accessory, this second spoiler here that you can mount kind of, on the tailgate below the rear glass. So, that I think that will definitely differentiate this thing from an HR-V. You're not gonna mistake it. And then another thing that's just slightly different is the shape of this rear window. So it kind of kicks up a little bit more than in the HR-V. The HR-V does they kind of designed that after the Porsche Macan. That's kind of the roof line and the window line that thing has. So it looks good, but yeah, on this Acura with all these angles, it does make a little bit more sense to kind of kick it up. And while you can get black 18-inch wheels on the Honda HR-V Sport model, the ones they're showing here, this is the A-Spec Advance, remember. These are 19-inch wheels. So yeah, a little bit bigger of a wheel tire combo on this thing. Now, are all ADXs going to get 19s? Probably not. But hopefully, 18 will be the smallest. Now moving on to the interior, this is going to be, the biggest change from the HR-V. And really cool that they've kind of come up with an all-new dash design here. They didn't just use the Integra dash design, which is, it still bothers me to this day. You know, the Integra, the dash, you know, this part here just looks cheaper. It looks cheaper than the Civic, which is, you know, crazy. So yeah, here on this ADX, we get an all new dash with not only this new vent design, which still retains that kind of laser cut mesh that Honda and Acura have been using, but it's kind of framed in this. You can see there's like this bright silver piece that kind of wraps around it as well. And then of course up on the dash, you actually get color matched leather or leatherette right on the dash with stitching as well. So yeah, this whole section, they need to put this in the Integra like ASAP. And you know, it's not just the design here, it's the colors as well, right? Acura, they always have several colors that you can choose from, right? The red, the orchid, and just all black if you want black as well. So it's kind of cool because, you know, even on these lower end models, Acura still gives you those options, don't they? In fact, here's the orchid right here. And it's not just orchid anymore. There's blue. As you can see, there's actually blue micro suede inserts on the seats and on the door panels as well. So yeah, you can see it right here. And this, you know, this is a little bit where it's a little bit more similar to the HRV. In fact, these switches, this is all from the HRV. So is the door handle, but it's a metal door handle. Actually, it's kind of surprising that the HRV has a metal door handle. But you are going to get, you know, memory seats. You're not going to get that in HRV. How about a Bang & Olufsen stereo? You know, this thing's going to sound fantastic, I'm sure. Again, you know, this is the ADX A-Spec Advanced that they're showing. So you're going to, you know, if you want this stuff, you're going to be paying a lot of money here, aren't you? Now, to go back to this image, yeah, there's a panoramic roof. So you can only get a standard sunroof on the HRV. And one thing that's real interesting here is, check this out. There's all metal, real metal paddle shifters in this thing. So you might be saying, you know, paddle shifters for what? It's for the CVT. It's for the CVT. But the thing is, you know, Honda, Acura, they actually do a pretty good job of simulating gears in their CVT. You know, it really does kind of give you that feeling. But, you know, it's not, you know, a lot of people, they still don't like the idea of a CVT. You know, a CVT, it's the best of both worlds, really. You know, because when you just drive it in the automatic mode, it's super smooth and it keeps the revs very low, which is, you know, what you want for fuel economy. And just, you know, NVH, noise, vibration, and harshness. You want the revs to be lower as well. And then if you want to have some fun with it and you want to, you know, shift your own fake gears, yeah, you can use these all metal paddle shifters. It's going to be awesome. It's going to feel great on your fingertips. And one thing that I'm actually curious about is what are the part numbers on these things? Because surely, you know, the wheel and the mount for those is the same as all the other Honda Acura models that have paddle shifters. So that'd be a cool upgrade. And since we're talking about the powertrain here, you know, CVT and what? CVT and the 1.5 turbo. So, you know, this is definitely not, you know, Acura's best. It's not their best powertrain, is it? You know, I mean, it's good. It's good in the aspect that it is pretty efficient for how much power it has. And, you know, like I said, the CVT actually drives better than you think it would. But, you know, from a long-term reliability standpoint, you know, having a small turbocharged engine, I don't know. I was kind of surprised, honestly, that they didn't debut the new hybrid powertrain that they put in the Civic with this thing, because you know, that thing actually has more power, at least more torque, and gets crazy good fuel economy. You know, so I would think maybe next year, eventually, they got to put that powertrain in this thing. And for the infotainment here, you know, that's nothing special for the ADX. This is pulled straight from other Honda and Acura models. It's the 9-inch. It's a good system. In fact, I think it's perfect for this car. You know, a lot of people will say 9 inches, it's too small. Remember, this thing, it's a compact SUV. You know, this screen isn't that far from where you're sitting. Trust me, it's not that far. So 9 inches is, you know, it's more than enough, and it's got good graphics, you know. And you have, you know, wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, Google built in. It's got all that stuff that you want. So to me, I think that's good enough. And then on the rear, yeah, we do get a significant upgrade here over the HRV, it's right here. Right here, they actually give you, they don't just give you a blank plastic piece. They're actually going to give you, yeah, rear seat air vents and 2 USB-Cs. Now, the one thing that's still missing, you know, especially considering that they're showing, you know, an ADX A-Spec Advance, there's no heated seats in the back. There's none of that stuff. So, but still, this is, you know, Honda, they're like very reluctant to put this stuff on their cars. So I guess, you know, at least they're giving it to you here. Hopefully it's standard across the range as well. They better not, they better not. And then just a cool little detail here that I was kind of surprised that they carried over from the HRV, but it's cool. I like it. So I'm glad that they did it. There's like this ribbed pattern on a lot of the plastic parts. You can see it in this image here, but it's just kind of a cool thing that you never really see in any other vehicle. It's actually on the bottom of all the door panels as well. So if you ever go to, you know, see one of these in person, make sure you look for those. Like I said, on the bottom of all the door panels and the cargo area here. It's a cool little detail, and it really kind of just sums up this whole car for me. You know, this thing, it's small, compact, you know, fairly affordable crossover SUV, but you're getting, you know, a lot of design here, a lot of style. And I think that's really the main appeal. And then, you know, of course, as we said, the ability to customize this with these unique colors inside and out that Acura offers. You know, I think, you know, all they got to do really to make this a huge success, I think, is put that Civic hybrid powertrain in this thing, at least as an option.